Good morning all. So today we are going to discuss about the application of magic tea, and depend upon this how we are going to analyze the working principle of magic tea in different sort of scenario. Now you can see, as I have written, the magic tea can be used for impedance measurement, can be used in duplexer, and can be used as a mixer. So these are the three different cases where the hybrid tea or the magic tea can be used for a different purpose. Now, as I have written, impedance measurement means one unknown resistance box will be, or impedance box will be given to you with a reference resistive value, and we have to identify that unknown quantity. So what I will do, I will connect in such an arrangement that its reflection coefficient must be equal for both the case. If the reflection coefficient for the known and the unknown impedance, if it is same, then I can identify the whether the impedance got matched or mismatched. If it is matched, means reflection coefficient must be equal. So that should be my target. But how to analyze all these things? Let's see. Here I have drawn one figure for impedance measurement. As we have, the magic tea is a combination of a 4 port, okay, port 1, port 2, port 3, port 4, and we have port 3 is a difference arm, port 4 is a sum arm, and port 4 and port 3 are not coupled with each other. These are the condition. And one more important thing, that port 1 and port 2 are not correlated with each other. Those are isolated with each other. Okay, S12 is equals to S21 equals to 0. That we have seen when we are deriving the hybrid parameter for scattering parameter for the hybrid T junction or the magic T junction. Okay, now here what I have done, I have used the unknown impedance in the port 1, okay, and known impedance at port 1 and unknown impedance at port 2. Any of these you can use, no problem. Isolation must be there. That means if I will deliver the power at port 1, it must not reach to the port 2, okay, or if I will feed the power at port 2, it must not reach to the port 1. Next, port 3 is energized with the source, microwave source is given, okay. So when the microwave sources is given, what will happen? Now the working principle of port 3 is what? It is a E-plane, okay, E-plane T junction. Now what is the basic principle of E-plane T junction? When I will provide the power at port 3, equal power will distribute to port 1 and port 2, but opposite in phase. One having the same magnitude for both the port, but the phase is going to change. It is negative for one of the port, either port 1 or port 2. Okay, so that is the third analogy. Then fourth one is what? If I will feed the power at port 1 and port 2, the same magnitude, same phase are going to be added at port 4. So when we are feeding the power at port 1 and 2, then the additive value is available at port 4. So what I am doing, I have arranged the unknown impedance at port 2, known impedance at port 1, microwave source at port 3, and the null detector. Null detector means it will measure the total reflection coefficient for both the port additive value if it is 0 or not. If it is 0, it will measure. So it is called as a null. Null means the resultant output must be equal to 0. If the additive value is equals to 0, that means the unknown factor is matched with the known factor. Okay, and before that, what is this? This impedance Z2 and Z1 is there. It is not matched perfectly, means it is not matched perfectly to the characteristics impedance, that is Z0, due to which reflection coefficients are obtained. Here you can see at port 2 we have reflection coefficient 2, and at port 1 we have reflection coefficient 1. Okay, because these are mismatch condition. As I have told that hybrid T junction, all ports are poorly matched junction. Okay, so these are poorly matched. So reflection coefficient will be there. Now how it works, let's see. Now as you can see, this is our microwave source. So power is going to be delivered to port 2 and port 1 because port 3 is energized. According to the principle of magic T, if you provide the power at port 3, the two potential or two power is going to be available, equal power is going to available at port 1 and port 2, but phase is different. Okay. So here you can see the equal power distributed. Okay. Equal power is distributed means I have represented in terms of normalized power. Okay. Normalized power means it is A2 by root 2. So this is A3 by root 2. A3 means the power which is fed from the microwave source, because those ports, last class we have seen, suppose this is the port, incident is A and reflection is B. So if I am energizing port 3, so A3 is the incident and B3 is the reflected. And one more important thing, if it is connected at a port 3, it is perfectly matched. That is one condition. Okay, perfectly matched means then only the maximum power is going to be delivered. So here I am considering only with incident potential A3. Okay, so normalized power means it is A3 by 2. As you can see, it is A3 by root 2, and here it is A3 by root 2. So one half is moving toward port 2 and one half is moving toward port 3. Port 1 and port 2. So these are the two ports. Okay. Now what is the power available at the port? Now once this microwave source distribute the power, some potential drop will be there in the port 1 and port 2. So that is the output power. Output power at port 1 and output power at port 2. Now in each port it is not matched perfectly. That means Z1 is not equals to Z0 and Z2 is not equals to Z0. It is not matched perfectly. So due to this, the reflection coefficient is going to be identified due to this condition. Reflection coefficient at port 1, reflection coefficient at port 2. So eta 1 and eta 2. Okay. Now with the combination of this, now once it is delivered the power, these ports are active. Okay. Now these ports are having some potential or some power in it. Now in order to match the, in order to determine the unknown impedance, what will happen? The potential or the power which is fed to the port 1 and port 2 will be proceeded toward port 4, will be added towards port 4, and port 4 is not linked with port 3. So if I am going to identify the normalized power which is available at port 2 and port 1, you can see I have written it is 1 by root 2 A3 and it is eta 2. So that means half of the power which is available at port 2, it will be multiplied with the reflection coefficient, and that power is going to available at port 4. Now as I have told that port 1 and port 2 are not interlinked with each other, but the link is 3 with respect to 2, 3 with respect to 1, and the phase is same. But when port 1 and port 2 are going to deliver due to the port 3, the negative phase will come into picture, because if this is in phase, this second port must be out of phase. Equal magnitude, but it is out of phase. So here I have assigned it is 1 by A 3 1 by root 2 A3 eta 1, 1 by root 2 A3 eta 2. Okay. Now this is the power available at these two ports. Now when these two ports are combined and projected towards port 4, a negative component will come. So minus of 1 by root 2 of this particular potential, because now the normalized power we are identifying, you can represent this one as A2. Okay. And this one you can represent as A1, because these are the incident potential. Okay. Incident. So 1 by root 2 of A1 and minus 1 by root 2 of A2. This minus inside you can consider, because this is out of phase. Okay. Here you can consider minus. So this is out of phase. Now at this port 4, what happens? Port 1 output and port 2 output, you have to add it. Now once this addition is done, we will form a certain relation with respect to the reflection coefficient. And if the reflection coefficients are equal, then these two impedance are matched perfectly. That we have to see. Now for this particular relation, I have identified some equations. Okay. Now reflection coefficient enters to the null detector. Null detector means 0. The resultant must be 0. It will detect only when the match condition was there and the reflection coefficient is equals to 0. So it is called as a null detector. So this is the first part which I have received from port 1, and this is the second part which I have received from port 2. Port 1 is an in-phase component, port 2 is out-of-phase component. So it is minus sign is provided. Actually here we are adding, not subtracting. But due to the out-of-phase component, we have to use this minus term for the second port, because second port is just the magnitude is same with respect to port 1, but it is out of phase due to the port 3. Now once if you take this half 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2 is multiplied, you will get half, and a3 is common, so half a3 eta 1 minus eta 2 is equals to 0. Now if you solve this, your reflection coefficient must be equal to 0. That is called as your balance. When it will be balanced? When the total value, the reflection coefficient must be equal to 0. So perfectly balanced means half a3 eta 1 minus eta 2, it must be equal to 0, in which both the reflection coefficients are same. If the reflection coefficient are equal for port 1 and port 2, then we can say the impedance was matched. Means the known impedance is matched to the unknown impedance with the help of this analogy. Here what we are doing, here only we are identifying the reflection coefficient relation. We are making the reflection coefficient are equal. Once the reflection coefficient of both the ports are equal, the impedance are automatically matched. Okay, how? Eta 1 I can write z1 minus zz divided by z1 plus zz. Zz is what? It is the characteristics impedance of that particular line. Okay, and z2 minus zz divided by z2 plus zz. If you solve this, you will get r1 plus jx1 and this one r2 plus jx2, because this is a complex, so it is r1 jx1 for this, and for this it is r2 jx2. Now impedance matching means what? Your r1 must be equal to r2 here, and x1 must be equal to x2 here. So if these are equal, that means impedance was matched. With whom? With the known impedance with respect to the unknown impedance. So this is the basic steps through which we can use the hybrid T junction for impedance matching. The logic is what? We are providing the power at port 3. Two equal magnitude were distributed but out of phase. Then the same resultant value included with the reflection coefficient, since these are poorly matched. Those reflection coefficient are fed to the null detector. Null detector means it will check whether the reflection coefficients are equal or not. If it is equal, then impedance was automatically matched. Okay, so this is the first application of magic T or hybrid T. Now we will discuss the duplexer. Okay. Okay. So here I have drawn two figures. One is for duplexer and one is for mixer. Now duplexer basically used for transmission and reception purpose. Okay. For communication purpose, or in a communication system, if I want to transmit the signal and I have to receive this signal, okay, at the same time, this duplexer plays a vital role. When we are using our cellular phone or a land phone, they are also having a duplexer. Sometime it will transmit and sometime it will receive. But at the same time, transmission and reception is done at so fast, the duplexer plays a vital role. Sometime it will receive the signal, sometime it will transmit the signal without interrupting the transmitter part as well as the receiver part. Okay, how it happens? Let's see. Now I have kept port 1 and port 2 with receiver and transmitter. That means there is no link up between port 1 and port 2. Both are isolated with each other of a magic T. It satisfies. If I will provide the power from the transmitter, same power is not available at the receiver. That is the first logic you have to understand. Okay. Next, if I am providing the input power at the port 4, so equal power is going to be available at port 1 and port 2. But if you are going to identify at port 3 the equal power but opposite in phase. But here we are going to identify the duplexer, which will sometime it will activate the transmitter, sometime it will activate the receiver. Okay. Now how it will happen? I have kept the antenna in a port 4. Okay. So there is no link between port 4 and port 3. Over. Next. Suppose if I am working for transmitting the signal, if I want to transmit the signal, I require an antenna which will convert the electrical signal into the electromagnetic waves. Okay. So here what happens, this transmitter will provide the power. Now that power is equally distributed to port 4 and port 3. Equal power, half power. So half power is transmitted to port 3 and half of the power is transmitted to antenna. Okay. So half of the power which is transmitted to port 3, here match load is there, in which total power will be absorbed without interfering to the receiver end. So it will only absorb the power. The working principle of this match load is to absorb the power, nothing else. Okay. No reflected power will be generated, only it will absorb the total potential. And half of the power is transmitted to the antenna. So transmitter will work without interrupting the receiver. That is the first. Second, if I am receiving the signal, okay, if I am receiving the signal, the antenna will be energized and that potential drop will driven towards two half power will be there. One half power will be towards transmitter and one half power will be at receiver. So one half power when it is transmitted to the receiver will activate without interfering to the transmitter working principle. Okay. So here what happens, the receiver will activate, transmitter remain as it is. When the transmitter will activate, receiver will remain silent. So duplexer work is to provide a path either for the transmitting part or either to the receiving part while for a communication purpose. Now if I want to transmit the signal, my receiver, every device, every cellular phone is having transmitter part as well as receiver part. Okay. But it works so fast that we could not judge that whether it is transmitting or receiving. That is the principle, that whole thing is controlled by the duplexer. Okay. So if I want to transmit this signal, the duplexer, what he will do, duplexer is nothing but a switch. Think it is nothing but a switch. It look like this. Here two parts are there. One is transmitter, one is receiver. Okay. Now when this is the duplexer you can consider. Now when I want to transmit the signal, the duplexer put the switch like this. So it will transmit the signal. Okay, without interrupting the receiver working principle. Similarly, when the receiver is going to work, the switch will be followed to, the switch will be connected to the receiver end and it will work without interfering the transmitter working principle. So it is just but a switch. Okay. So this hybrid T can be used for duplexer working principle. These two must not be interrelated with each other. This must be isolated with each other. It satisfies. So port 1 and port 2 are isolated. Port 3 and port 4 are no coupling happens. Okay. So total power, when I want to activate the transmitter, some half of the power is absorbed by the load and some of half of the power is transmitted from the antenna. And when I am receiving the signal, half power is delivered to transmitter and half power is delivered to this receiver. So here it will act as a load, it will absorb the power, but receiver will extract the signal. Okay. So from the half power what it is received from the antenna, it will be demodulated and original signal can be reconstructed. So this is the working principle for duplexer. Similarly, the same 4-port device or same magic T can be used for mixer also. Same principle. Here what happens, in place of match load you can put local oscillator which will generate the local oscillator frequency. Antenna is also there and port 2 is perfectly matched. So whatever the potential is dropped, it will be absorbed, and half of the power which is given to the mixer, it will identify the frequency component, let it be input frequency, and here it is local oscillator frequency is provided from the port 3. This is port 3, port 3. So at port 3, if I will fit the power, and port 4 if I will fit the power, then at port 1 the difference we will obtain. So difference of what? Difference of in the input frequency minus local oscillator frequency, which is gives as a intermediate frequency, and the mixer output is a intermediate frequency, IF. Okay, and these are basically used at a receiver end. When we are using for FM signal, in that case we are identifying the intermediate frequency. Okay, once the intermediate frequency is identified, you have to convert that intermediate frequency into the amplitude variation. Once the amplitude variation is done, that means AM signal is generated, and from AM signal we can easily demodulate to the original message signal. So this is the basic working principle or the application of hybrid T-junction. One, impedance matching, how we have seen. Next, duplexer, how it works, and next, mixer, how it works. Okay, so these are the basic application of Magic T. Now we will go to the other section of a microwave passive devices, how it will work. Let's see. Okay, so here I have drawn few diagrams which are also the devices who helps to propagate the electromagnetic waves through a waveguide. Okay, now these are the different devices. Waveguide T is what we have studied for E-plane, H-plane and hybrid T-junction. These are basically used to combine the power, difference the power, divide the power. Sometimes it will transmit, it will help the wave to propagate in a certain direction also. Okay, now these are the other devices which are basically used while transmitting the microwave energy from one end to the other end. These are also followed the same working principle as what the waveguide T's are happening. Okay, now here it is hybrid ring. This is a hybrid ring. This can be used as a means what I will say, it is a one form of Magic T, but in this the working principle depends upon the rotation of the waves, whether it is propagating in a clockwise or whether it is a propagating in a anti-clockwise relation, and according to that we have to identify the scattering parameter. Okay, now since this hybrid ring is called as a rat race circuit, so in this the working principle is that it is having the 4-port device, port 1, port 2, port 3 and port 4. The simple thing is that if you provide the power at and these all ports are separated at a uniform distance, at a certain distance. Okay, the port 1 and port 2 are separated at a distance of 3 lambda g by 4. Lambda g is the wavelength of a particular wave which is propagating in this particular waveguide. That is called as a lambda g, guided wavelength, you can say. This lambda g is called as a guided wavelength. It is called guided wavelength. Okay, this is called guided wavelength. And what is the distance between port 1 and port 2? You must remember, when I am discussing with respect to transmitting of signal with the help of antenna height, the height of the antenna must be lambda by 2, what we have discussed, or lambda by 4, what we have discussed in our PCS class. So in that it is related with respect to the wavelength. Okay, so wavelength, height of the antenna is related with respect to wavelength. If the wavelength is less, your height of the antenna is less. If the wavelength is less, means frequency component is going to be very high. So using the same analogy, here I will tell, this guided wavelength must also be very small so that microwave energy can propagate. Microwave energy means it is working in gigahertz. If the frequency is in gigahertz, that means your wavelength will be very small. And the design of this device is made in such a manner that the guided wavelength of this particular device is identified as lambda g, having certain value by the manufacturer they will give. But when it must be matched with the input power, If it is not matched, we can't deliver the power with respect to this particular device. Okay. So here when I am feeding the power at port 1, one path is, now port 1 is alternate, means alternate part, means suppose this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3, and this is 4, oh sorry, this is 4 and this is 3. Okay, like this. It is a ring form. Now when I am feeding the power at port 1, the power is related with respect to port 1 and port 2, port 4 and port 2. Okay. Now if it is follows through this in a clockwise direction, the same power or the half of the power is propagating in a anti-clockwise direction. Now this power when it is reaches to 3 and this power when it is reaches to 3, resultant will be 0, because both are opposite in phase. Means one is, if it is 0 degree, then this will be at 180 degree. So you can see that 180 degree separation is there. So if it is cos theta 0 degree is 1, then it is cos 180 degree, that is minus 1. So if you add these two at port 3, resultant is 0. So that it indicates what? If you provide the power at port 1, no output at port 3, but the output can be measured at port 4 and port 2. Okay. Similarly, if you feed the power at the port 2, that means output is available at port 1 and 3, but at port 4 what will happen? Here the same working principle, if you follow this one as a clockwise, if you follow this one as a anti-clockwise, let me draw once again. Two cases I will tell. This is port 1, this is port 2, this is port 4 and this is port 3. Done. Now first case, if power fed at 1, okay, if power is fed at 1, that means power is going to be distributed between 2 and 4. 1 it is in clockwise and this path is in anti-clockwise. Now when this 2 power is fed to 3 and fourth one is fed to 3, this is, if this particular path is 0 degree, then this will be around 180 degree. So if it is cos 0 is 1, then this is cos 180 degree minus 1. So 1 and minus 1 will be added up and here resultant will be 0. So that means when I am feeding the power at port 1, no power available at port 3, as I have written. Power fed at port 1 will not appear at 3. Justified. Similarly, in the second case, this is port 1, this is port 2, this is port 3 and this is port 4. Done. Now in this, if I am feeding the power at port 2, half of the power will go to 1 and half of the power will go to 3. But when this power is moving to 4 and this power is moving to 4, that means if you follow the upper one, that means it is clockwise, let it be 0 degree, and this one is anti-clockwise, it is 180 degree. So if I will calculate cos 0, this is 1, and cos 180 degree, it is minus 1. So output will be 0. So that means what it indicates? If you feed the power at port 2, at port 4, output will be 0. Similarly, if you feed the power at port 3, at port 1, output is 0, there is no link. That means I can write S13 is equals to S31 is equals to 0 and S24 is equals to S42 is equals to 0. Similarly, other are having a relation. Now if I will fit the power at port 1, I will have S12 and S41. S21 are equal, S41 is equal, like this. So these parameters can be identified. That means with the help of this ring, we can distribute the power or we can divide the power in a certain direction. One direction is this, one direction is this, and here we are getting the 0 output, and the distance must be specific. the port 1 and port 2 is having a distance is 3/4 of the lambda by g. Port 4 and port 3 is lambda by 4, and port 3 and 2 is lambda by 4. Port 2 and port 1 is lambda by 4. So if you add these three distance, you will get 3 lambda by 4, lambda g by 4. So it satisfied. Total is complete one will be lambda g. Okay. So depend upon this, we have to analyze our scattering parameter. So I have written S11, S22, S33, S44 all are perfectly matched for this. If it is perfectly matched, that means your diagonal elements are 0. So this is the diagonal elements. So this is perfectly matched. Done. Now S12, if I am getting the power at first case, S12 and S21 will exist. So S12, S21 exist. S13 and S31 does not exist. There is no relation. So S13, this is S14. S13, no relation. And S31 is also no relation. So 0, 0. Now 1 with respect to 4 we have a relation. 4 with respect to 1 will have a relation. Done. Similarly, 3 with respect to 2, 2 with respect to 3. So S23 and S32 exist. Then 3 with respect to 4, 4 with respect to 3 will exist. So 2, 1 and 1, 2. So these are the unknown factors that we can identify by taking the unitary property. The resultant magnitude square must be equal to 1. This square must be equal to 1, and arranging those factors you can determine your values. Okay, it is quite easy, but the thing is that you have to understand the characteristics of the hybrid ring. Okay, so this is one sort of magic tree. Means not a magic tree, it is a ring which is basically used to divide the power. Okay, in alternate arm. Next, apart from this ring, we have different sort of bends also. Bends, corner and twist. So these are basically nothing but, suppose if the waveguide is like this, okay, and one waveguide is like this. In order to join these two waveguide, I need this particular bend so that power can be delivered to one more waveguide. So this small bend I have represented here. Similarly, if I am using, this is in a rectangular manner, okay. Here I need one corner, because at the corner I have to fit some waveguides like this. So this is the corner like this, okay. So here this is the corner at which I am fitting two waveguides. This is waveguide 1 and this is waveguide 2 at the corner. So that corner depends upon the electric field and magnetic field. So we have E plane corner and H plane corner. Remember that if the space between the path is small, then you can consider this is E. Similarly, if this particular length is widened, okay, if it is widened, you can see here it is widened, here it is quite narrow. If it is widened, by seeing the device you can say it is called as a H plane corner. And if it is corner is a small one, you can say it is called E plane corner, and each corner is having certain length. This length plays a vital role. Okay, this length is identified as an electrical length which is related with respect to the guided wavelength. So this L, as I have written, it must be the odd combination of lambda g by 2, lambda g by 4. Odd combination of lambda g by 4 means if you set this length by lambda g by 4 in odd number of multiples, then the reflection coefficient at the two waveguide, means at this and this, will be cancelled out with each other. Means at that particular distance these are perfectly matched, and these are made by the manufacturer. Okay, so this L we have to see. If L is an odd number of or odd multiple of lambda by g, that means these two waveguides are perfectly matched. As you can see, I have written, if L is odd number of lambda by g, then the reflected wave from both the end of the waveguide are cancelled with each other. If the reflection coefficient are cancelled, that means are perfectly matched. These two are called as corner. Similarly, this is called as a bend. In this, there are three basic dimensions are there. One, the dimension is A, and one, the thickness of that bend is B. Okay, this you can see in your rectangular waveguide. A is the dimension of the first part. If the rectangular waveguide, if I will show, this is the rectangular waveguide, this is dimension A and this is dimension B. So depend upon this A and B, these waveguides are basically judged whether it is operating in a TE mode, operating in a TM mode, operating in a TEM mode. Okay, and this A must be twice greater than B, then only it will satisfy that rectangular waveguide conditions. Okay, so that thing might be people have read in your electromagnetic field theory. So here what happens, there are three dimensions. Now this bend can be work for electric field as well as magnetic field, because here we are going to provide the microwaves, and microwaves means electric field as well as magnetic field, both waves will be there. But depend upon the dimension we can analyze. If the R, the radius of curvature, this is nothing but a radius. If you take this R as a radius, it will form as a circle. Half of the part or 1/4 I have took. So that radius of curvature, if it is 1.5 times of B, okay, this B is the dimension. If R is equals to 1.5 times of B, then we can say this whole band is called as E band. Okay, and if R is equals to 1.5 times of A, then you can say it is called H band. Okay, it is called H band. So depend upon these two values, the product will be developed, these dimensions will be identified, and according to this relation you have to judge whether it is a E band or whether it is a H band. So these bands, these corners are basically used when we are assembling different passive devices to deliver the microwave sources from source end to the load end. So these are the basic relation through which you can understand the hybrid ring, where we have to use the waveguide corners, bend and twist and all. So these are the basic relation, and these waveguide corners and twist depend upon this length. Okay, here you can see the length of the space, and this length must be odd multiples of